Good morning, Yasha Allah. Good morning, world. To the 12 tribes scattered abroad across the face of the earth. We greet you, brethren, in the great, the mighty, precious, everlasting name of Hamashiach, the Malak of Yasha Allah, to the praise and honor of Abba Yah, Hawa, and the mighty Ravak. Being so thankful, being ever grateful, and appreciative of the grace of Allah Hayam, Yahweh, the chief overall, who gave his word to come in the flesh through the operation of the mighty Ravak to secure salvation unto the 12 tribes of Yasha Allah, and for those of the nations who are willing to submit themselves to the rulership under the rod of iron that the Most High is bringing through Hamashiach, who treads out on the platform of the wrath of the Almighty Yah, bringing everything into order by the word of his power, Mashiach, our mother. Thankful to be in your presence, brethren. And so let's get started right away now. Our subject today, the cost of reparations. I want you, brethren, to fasten your seatbelts now, all across the length and breadth of the earth. Fasten your seatbelts now. We're going on a mission to discover and to apply the principles of hope. You could write that down. Humility and trust. Hope, humility, and trust at the top of our list of things to do in Yasha Allah and for Yasha Allah. We remind you of a key text that we have used at the beginning of this discourse about the Day of Atonement, when we recited for you the principal issue at hand in the book of Daniel 8 and verse 14, I believe it is, that says, in part, unto 2,300 days. I think I'm quoting it right. Unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. And it has been the mission or mission statement of this platform of Howling, Benjamin, your brother, to, as it were, champion the cause of reparations by the statement that in the 2300 days prophecy of Daniel chapter 8, we are brought face to face with the cleansing of the heavenly sanctuary that our elder, the prophet Daniel, proposes to us. And so, I'd like to say, first of all, then, to give you a view of what is happening, transpiring in the earth, and among the top leaders of the Western world, the top leaders who have, under the authority and guidance of the dark forces that are led by the chief adversary, Gadriel the Fallen, who got his name to be put in the scriptures, in our scriptures, as God, the chief filth of the universe. They, at this time, and more directly at this time, the heat is on them. For instance, the father is bringing the heat on Buckingham Palace in England and the principals there. The father is pouring down the heat on the chief of those who instigated and created the principle of enslavement of Yahweh. The three tribes that were brought out of Africa, we say, for this period of enslavement that we have been engaging ourselves in as the slaves, as those who worked night and day unceasingly to the destruction of our own selves and our families, to the destruction of our culture, language, and those necessary elements that govern our very existence. And at the top of that, our relationship and faith unto Abaya and our Mashiach and the Ruach of Alahayah, the eternal Ruach, without which no life. And so I bring courage to you, brethren, to let you know that we are in a time of great upheaval, yes, for the whole world. And a time of great testing of the faith of the chosen of the Most High, Yasha Allah, 12 tribes. You are in a time of testing. to declare unto Abba Yahweh, and Bahasham Mashiach. Put your name in there for the Mashiach. Yahweh Shai, Yahushua, Yahusha, you know the names. Put him in there. We are at a time of testing. In this 2300 days declaration, to declare unto our Abba whether or not we have or will accept his provision for the cleansing of the sanctuary. And the cleansing of the sanctuary has to do with the relationship of Elohim, Yahweh, the chief, the relationship of himself to the chosen ones, Yasha Allah. That's what it's about. Now we showed you sometime earlier how our chief human adversary, Esau, has been as continually in confederacy with the chief fallen one, Satan. And we've come to find out that our own brother Levi joined in the conspiracy to frustrate the plan of Abba Yahweh, his plans that are executed in and by the Mashiach, the one who secured the place and a position of authority to legislate and to, in his own self, provide for the necessary means to take hold of the authority to enforce the ratification of covenant, the covenant of oath that Abba Yahweh spoke to our forefather Abraham long years ago. You remember when he brought him abroad and showed him? I think it's in Genesis 12, somewhere thereabout. Brought Abraham outside and look up, Abe. Look up, my boy. Tell me what you see up there. And he told him, while he was yet fatherless, I believe, all that, what you see up there, your seed are going to be like what you see up there. All those stars, your seed are going to be numerous. And I'm going to do something for them. I'm going to make them the inheritors of the earth through you. And so the Mashiach was sent by Abba Yahweh to be the guarantor of the covenant that our Abba made with Abraham, our forefather. And the Mashiach was the seal or the sealing of that covenant in the Ruah to make of Abraham, through his seed, a great nation. That great nation has gone through much testing, much hardship, turmoil, stress, breakings, facing with many periods of destruction in the national experience, being thrust out of the land, their land that was given to them by the Most High. Now, you people of the nations, the world, do you got some problems with that? That the Most High chased out those that were there in the land previously, gave it to the children of Yasha'Allah. You got some problems with that? Take it up with him. But we have been constantly under contest from the nations of the earth through the fallen one, the chief fallen one, Gabriel, Satan, put his name in the scriptures as God. Taka. Opposition to the Most High and his plans for a world, for a heaven, for a cosmos, a peace, peacefulness, tranquility, and love. This is the purpose that is under the whole heavens by the Most High. So we're having all this opposition to the acquiring of this peace. And the Mashiach, Abu Yahweh, has sent to bring us, I think it was in Luke chapter, I believe it's chapter 23. Check it out. But the Mashiach said to his apostles, I'm paraphrasing, I come to bring you a kingdom. I was sent, this is why I was sent here, to bring you, Yasha'Allah, a kingdom. And in the book of Daniel, our forefather, the prophet, he shows us that this kingdom will never be destroyed. In fact, the Father showed it to him as a stone cut out of the mountain without a hand. Didn't see no hand cutting, but the stone got cut out. And it filled the whole earth as the kingdom that at the end will be the precincts of Abba Yahweh, that the Mashiach has come to secure, that he offers to Yasha'Allah 12 tribes, 12 foundations, 12 gates. And so this is the reason for all the contests that Yasha'Allah has endured over the centuries of time. And now we are about at the end of the contest, the last captivity. And of course, you know, the chief rebel, the chief adversary will show himself in all the grandeur of his horrible opposition, destructive ability, with the intent to reverse and break up the plan of the Most High through the nations, i.e., Esau, and of course the other nations that follow with him. And so we are at the stage now where, for us as regular human beings in that term, we are at the stage where, because Yahweh has made a promise unto our father Abraham when he brought him outside, out of the house, and into the open atmosphere, and made the presentation to him of what he was going to give him and how it was going to go. There he related to him that his seed would be slaves, foreign land, a land guarded over by the representation of an eagle, the chief symbol of Edom, an eagle. And he told them how they would be abused, mishandled, mistreated. But that at the end of that enslavement, going to give them some possessions, great possession, to come out of Babylon, out of torture, out of absolute treachery against peace, against tranquility, against love, and the bond of togetherness that had to be paid for, though. It didn't come easy. Didn't come easy. You remember Sister C.C. Winans? It wasn't easy. But Abba Yah secured the peace, secured the documents, the word is getting away from me at the moment, but he secured all that was necessary to ensure the peace when he laid his life down. Took it up 3 days later under the power of the mighty Ruach, or the higher. And so here we are, as I have offered to you many times now in these presentations. We are here seeking to receive of a promise that Father Yahweh made to Abraham. And I think let me say it quite openly and boldly. I appreciate how Abba Yahweh has worked it. I mean, this matter of dislocation, the dislocation of Yasha'Allah from the subservient position, being under the nations, whom they were called to rule over, even over all the earth. But for our own rebellion, our own unwillingness to hear him. Today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your heart. But we harden our hearts, Yasha Allah. We harden our hearts over and over against the omnipotent grace of Yahweh. Pain his heart. Father, if we could use the word, all kind of stress. You find him in the book of Genesis, I believe it's somewhere in chapter 6 nearby, that the Most High repented that he made man. Yeah, he already knew what he was going to do. He already knew what he had to do to secure his relationship to man. He knew what he had to do. But, you know, it's an expression, a relational expression, his pain and hurt that man in general has caused him. And now Yasha Allah, whom he chose in Abraham, to be the inheritors of the gift of his grace, Hamashiach, Hawamala, the guarantee that man would have a relationship with the Most High that would secure him, that would secure man, and put him in right relationship to the Most High forever. That man is Abraham, our father. You know, who he comes down the line of all the great ones from Father Adam, who, you know, through his weakness, brought the whole world into disrepair. But, you know, the Father worked it out, and he got down to Abraham, gave him the promise of becoming a great nation. And then in the Mashiach, he fulfilled it. Our Mashiach, the great and mighty Alahayim, Yahushua. In him, the Father fulfilled it. He gave the promise in Abraham, yes, and in the process of time, he brought it to pass by the virgin birth of Miriam. And you see, that right there is the hub of the distrust, the rebellion of Yasha'Allah, as with the rest of the nations. You can't believe that a great Alahayim like Yahweh would sacrifice his only begotten, the beloved of his being, that he would make him a sacrifice to secure you and me for a love relationship. In Yochanan 15 and 13, we are told, greater love hath no man than this, and a man lay down his life for his friends. This is what the Mashiach has done for Yasha'Allah. And by extension, those are the nations. But, well, he did it to provide hope for the beleaguered and weak and hopeless humanity of the earth. And he put the cradle for this operation of hope in Yasha'Allah through Abraham, our father, directly in the Mashiach that came by the virgin birth of Miriam. Yes, we can call her a beloved sister or mother, whatever, but she made herself available. According to your word, she said to the Malakim, be it unto me. And so we are shown now in Yochanan 15 and 3 or 13, there's no greater love than what Abba Yah manifested in sending his own word, the beloved of his being, into the flesh to be, first of all, an example of giving reverence to Torah. And I think in Isaiah, it says that the Mashiach will magnify the law, the Torah, and make it honorable in the midst of Yasha'Allah, in the cradle of his love, to be manifested to the whole world. See? No man had a greater love. And this is the love that Abba Yahweh, has been manifesting through Yasha Allah from that time. The scripture tells you how Abba Yahweh loved our forefathers. And we could see that they loved him and they went after him from in the wilderness. They had some problems, yes, serious problems. But in a family, the father has the responsibility to secure his own authority and position. As the house band, he secures that in promoting the properties required and needed to make the household viable, to make the household a work of beauty through his grace, through his relationship, whereby he works out the matters that cause breakdown in the structure of the well-being of the members of the family. Look at the costs. His dearly beloved, his only begotten, that he sent to secure it for us. What a love. What a father. What an Alahayim. And what a savior, the Mashiach. In Wawrawak, made himself available to be brutally handled by Esau. I gotta rub it in, because Esau has shown himself a serious evil contender against the Most High, along with his father, Satan, Gabriel, fallen, caused all this destruction in the earth. You can read about it in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28. Books of the prophets of Yahweh. This man destroyed the whole earth through those who are committed to his cause. Mainly Esau and the other nations, yes. And we our own selves, Yasha Allah, have committed treason against ourselves through disobedience, unthankfulness, that we showed and have shown constantly towards Abba Yahweh. And now, the man of his choosing, Hamashiach, the Malak, the word of his power, we read of in Hebrews, from the beginning of Hebrews. You see the word of his power, Mashiach, for whom he made a body. You remember the Psalms? Body thou hast prepared me, that he may make the sacrifice to bring Yasha Allah back in line with the covenant that was cut between Abiyah and Abraham. Our fathers loved the Most High. So how come we have drifted so far away and have expressed unwillingness to return. But the Father made a return proposition that you can't get around. When we sing the song, but it's so high, so low, so wide, can't get around. Got to come through the door. Mashiach is the door that Yahweh has provided, that we come through into the kingdom that He brought and expressed to His apostles. I came to bring you a kingdom. And so we are faced with the proposition, Yasha Allah, of giving in to such a great love, receiving it and honoring and honor and esteem. And having the privilege, the great and awesome privilege, to be citizens of that kingdom. You've got to come through the door. The door is Hamashiach, that many of us in Yasha have despised. You see in the book of Isaiah, he's despised and rejected. Man. Yeah. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities, and the chastisement that secured our peace is upon him. And with his stripes, we are healed. We are called today to look at the cost of reparations. And we see that coming down to our times, for many centuries now, well, as long as the slavery has lasted, and until now, we've had men and women, sisters, among whom the scripture says, I think in Romans 3:23, all have sinned. We're talking about our fighters for freedom, for deliverance from the torture of slavery. But all of them, along with us, have sinned, come short of the esteem of the Al-Hayam of all creation. Well, we talk about our brothers who have allowed themselves to be hoodwinked and encouraged to come together with Egyptology. The Egyptology said they're coming forth by day. I don't know what they're doing it tonight, but they're coming forth by day. And we can see that they didn't reach out yet. But our Mashiach laid down his life under brutal circumstances, crucified under Pontius Pilate, the Roman, Esau, crucified, having his tomb sealed. Now, I don't know about you, but I have the imagination that leads me to believe that the Romans put their best sealant, whatever bonding agent they had at that time that would make that tomb secure, that you couldn't simply go to it and open it and take out the contents of the tomb. They secure. It is written in scriptures, you have a watch, make it secure. They made it secure, brothers and sisters in Yasha Allah. You brothers who are rebelling, talking about Sheikh was son of Joseph. The Romans made it secure. You needed power to come out of there, brothers. You needed power to come out of that Roman tomb. I want to show you. You needed power to come out of that tomb. Think about how forceful the Roman rule was over us in the enslavement. Think of the force that they used against us to brutalize us and to bring us under their rule, their authority, and their power. Such was the case with the crucifixion of the Messiah, the Mashiach of Yasha'Allah. Pilate said, you have a watch. Make it sure. And I want you to see now, Yasha'Allah. You know, we read the scriptures and we gloss over. We look at the words and, you know, it passes out as mere words. But in this atonement, take a little more time and look at it. Pilate says, you have a watch. Make it sure. And you could better believe. Those brothers of Esau, they made it sure. You ain't coming out of this tomb. What will we have? 3 days. Father called for him. And he came forth triumphant over death, hell, and the grave. For our redemption, Yasha'Allah. Mind somebody telling you about Amun Ra and who was Ra and what Ra? It's garbage. We have the witness in the scriptures and the history that Esau has belabored himself to wash over and hide. Tried to hide it all he could. But the testament remains. Crucified under Pontius Pilate. Let Egyptology show us something like that. Crucified under Amun Ra is non-existent. Where is the salvation? In Amun Ra, in Egypt. Non-existent. So you brothers in Egyptology, sisters, out of Egypt have I called my son. Come out. Accept your Mashiach, the Al-Hayam of power, who rose out of the sealed tomb of the Romans. Those Romans were playing with sealing that tomb. I want you to understand that. You got to have power to come out of there. No son of Joseph of the flesh could come out of there. Giving it to you bold and raw. Father's calling you, Yasha'Allah. Out of Egypt I have called my son. We are in the type of Egypt that have been enslaved for 400 years under brutal, extenuating, evil circumstances. And we're giving you the word of hope today. Hope that has to be guaranteed by humility. And humility provided for by faith. Trust in the provision that the creator of the cosmos, Yahweh, has provided in offering his own son, our Mashiach, faith in him who laid his life down. The Romans couldn't keep him down. They said, you have a watch, Pilate said. Pilate, you know Pilate. Pilate used to be your boy. You got a watch, Pilate says. Make it sure. Bah, bah, bah. Make it sure, Pilate says. I want you brothers to get a hold of these words. Get a hold of the picture. Those weren't joke words. And the sealant that was used wasn't no ordinary material in that sense of the word. They had to what? They had to make it sure. Because, you know, they said, sir, we heard the deceiver say that if you kill him, he's coming back out. I'm paraphrasing. And with all of that, I suppose Pilate was saying to himself, even after the admonition of his wife, at least you had one one conscientious Edomite girl. But Pilate says, you gotta watch. Make it sure. I want you to get a hold of that this morning, Yasha Allah. They weren't playing with that sealant on that tomb. And the father wasn't playing either. The father had to watch. He had to make it sure that the Malachims watching over their master, the Mashiach, and in the due process of time, you could imagine them when the father broke the tomb, when the Malachim entered in there, touch him. Master, your father's calling for you. And the Mashiach rose, come out of that tomb. The Romans, go back and check the record. They was like dead men. Their secured tomb, broken and busted. And the Mashiach coming out, power, majesty, power and authority. I am the resurrection and the life, were his words. I want you to feel the resurrection and the life, Yasha Allah, in this atonement. Feel the resurrection, the life of the Mashiach coming to dislocate you from 400 years of brutal slavery, destruction. So, I want to extend then the narrative that I began to show you of the many freedom fighters that, on the behalf of, well, let's say freedom, on the behalf of the desire to be delivered from the tortures of slavery, I'm speaking in respect of the transatlantic slavery of Yahawada, the 3 tribes that were brought out of Africa. I got to keep on drilling this to you, Yasha Allah. This was the concern of Edom from the beginning. I want you to understand why Edom is so incensed against the idea of giving you reparations. He wants you destroyed. He's doing the will of his father, Satan. And in the revolution for Haiti's independence, Esau got him a partner from the priesthood, Levi. I believe by now you're starting to get the picture, Yasha Allah, of your enemies, those who have hated you. Well, let's take it from the top. Those who have hated Abba Yahweh, and his program, his plan for the reclaiming of his children, those he made a covenant with at Sinai. And they were so ready to say, all that the Most High has said, we will do. I submit to you, brethren, that our forefathers were sincere. I think they were. Man, they were ready. They saw that miracle, the slaughtering of Mizraim, the Egyptians, floating on the waters, man. Because Abba destroyed them, like he going to destroy this kingdom now in short order. Just rag it up, destroy it, break it up, bust it up, disintegrate it. You who think you could fight against him, since you would not listen to entreaty, to back off, save yourself, we got to tell you, come, bring it on. Feel the wrath of omnipotent power and the destructive might of our Al-Hayam. And who's going to be executing this? The Mashiach. The ones whom the Romans made his tomb secure. He's going to be treading out the winepress spoken of in Isaiah 63. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garment from Bosra? This that is glorious in his apparel. Glorious in his apparel. Treading the wine fat, the wrath of the Most High, Elohim, on Edom and the nations to secure his well-beloved, Yasha'Allah. What are you going to do about it, Yasha'Allah? Are you going to let some pains in the body deter you? Are you going to let some moments of having to bear some hunger deter you? Are you going to let the bitterness of some relationship issue deter you? You're going to let that sister, that wife who is full of rebellion, you're going to let her deter you? Sister, are you going to let an overbearing man, husband, deter you? To our young brothers and sisters, are you going to let the ruthlessness of unbelieving fathers and mothers deter you from the healing of a love so precious in the Mashiach? To our younger ones in Yasha'Allah, encourage you, young brothers, sisters, the babies in Yasha'Allah, we encourage you to get a hold of the love of Yahweh, our Father, that he witnessed to us in the Mashiach. Greater love hath no man than this. Egyptology, don't stand a chance. Can't come close, because you're still coming forth. All those years under the pharaohs, you're still coming forth, Egypt. And you got the modern Egypt, America and England. You're trying to come forth too. You took on the challenge to come forth. Hey, I think one brother said, you probably gonna come fifth. But Yasha'Allah, we are in a time of atonement. Mashiach coming down to get your response to the love of the Most High. You remember the prophet Yohanan, the baptizer, and of him, the Mashiach said, what did you go to see? What did you go to see? as Yohanan excoriated them, our forefathers in Yasha Allah. What did you go to see? You wanted to see a fellow dressed in kingly gowns or robes in delicate clothes for the rich and famous? What did you go to see? You went to see a prophet. You went to see the forerunner who came to pronounce, behold, the Lamb of Allah, take away the sin of the world. Look at it, Yasha Allah. That's who you've been rebelling against so long. That's whom Egyptology taught you to rebel against. And so we say to all of our freedom fighters outside of Yasha Allah, we had many brothers and sisters along the way. We had, if I start to name now, it's going to take some time. But some of the names, some of the more prominent names who have been in the freedom fight. Sister Frances Cress Welsing, Brother Khalid Muhammad. You got in our today, present time era. You got the Professor Smalls and the other brothers in his team. You got men like Jason Black, Professor Truth, countless others in the battle, in the fight for the release of people from the brutality of the enslavement, and on behalf of the cause of reparations. And we have taken the time to show you how Esau and your own brother, well, both of them are your brothers, Levi, withstood the cause for reparations and deliverance from enslavement. And so, on the behalf of Yasha Allah, I want to invite such brothers, sisters, people, as I mentioned already. Some are passed on and gone. They've done their duty. But many are still alive today, those who are alive. I challenge you to look at our proposition in Yasha Allah. I know many of you who are our brothers and sisters of the slave, the slavery brutality and the incursions of the wrath, the torture of Esau. Many of you have misgivings with the presentation that those of us who are believers in the Mashiach, you have, some misgivings with the presentations we have been giving you. And I'd like to say that I think it's mainly because of the unbelievers in our midst who have presented you a false view of the Mashiach that skewed your understanding of who the Mashiach is. We're not talking about some dead pharaoh, some dead promoter of reprisals against slavery and the leaders of it. That's not the kind of representation we're presenting to you. We're presenting to you the word of power of the creator who made heaven and earth that you talk about when you prop up your Egyptology and the othertology and listology. No permanent solution. This is the solution we offer you. Professor Smalls, Brother Jason Black, Brother Professor Truth, and all the others, brothers and sisters. We offering you the real solution and the only solution. And so we go back to the point that in this time, and the cleansing of the sanctuary, Shia, coming down with a question to you, Yasha Allah, who do you say I am? Got to get that. This is the question of the ages. You think it's some light thing, eh? Yeah, you made representation, many of you, by your actions, that this is what you think, that this Mashiach is some light ideology that we're presenting to you. We present to you the word of power that Pilate had to acknowledge, that Herod had to acknowledge, all Rome had to acknowledge. If we leave him alone, he'd turn the whole world upside down. That was the fear they had of the Mashiach back in the day. And it's the same fear today. The Romans who have survived the centuries of time, going everywhere that they knew Yasha Allah was, setting themselves up under the cover of, the pretense of goodness, brotherly kindness, setting up their destruction against Yasha Allah. And coming, look at the irony of this. For the English pilgrim dogs, call themselves pilgrim fathers, liars, haters of truth and goodness, haters of Allahim and Yasha Allah, come over here from England and put out that big, great lie. Pilgrim fathers coming for religious freedom, coming to destroy Yasha Allah. That was their purpose. That was their only purpose. Coming to oppose the scriptures of the Most High and Yasha Allah. You, my brothers and sisters. Everywhere they went looking for Yasha Allah, all over the earth, all up in Africa till now, searching out for Yasha Allah, destroying as much as they can. But we're glad the Mashiach has brought all of the opposition parties and their philosophies, ideologies, theologies, and whatever have you. Mashiach is bringing it all to a head in Yasha Allah, because you, Yasha Allah, and me, we have been caught, as rightfully so, in the midst of the melee, caught in the middle, because we are the chosen of the Most High, that God we have Satan and the nations hate. They hate to see that the Most High has a chosen in the earth, of people, of a nation, of a nationality. And so they want to cancel that out. And I brought to you earlier the irony of it. And the Mashiach says, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, I'll give you rest. Show you how to stop fighting with one another. But they rather reject, get reject. They rather show their unwillingness to be a partner and a part of the kingdom of the Most High Yahweh and His Son, Mashiach, through the eternal Ruach. They rather fight against that solely for the purpose, for the cause of being able to exterminate you, Yasha'Allah. Now that's their great prize. They're going to destroy you because you are chosen of the Most High. This morning I call you Yasha'Allah as the apostle, our great apostle, brother and father. Sure, let's call you. Be strong in the Most High, in Mashiach. Take hold of His strength. Take hold of the power that raised Him from the dead. That put Pilate to shame. Sent him running. Sent Rome running. So much so that Rome, went on a campaign after the Mashiach. Destroy all the Asha'ah, destroy the temple. Mashiach said he come to deal with that. The destruction of the temple. Oh yeah. So he come to solve that quarrel. That Titus and Vespasian were presiders and presiding over the destruction of the temple. Oh yeah, he coming to bring some reward on the perpetrators for the destruction of the temple. You're talking about you building some temple in our homeland. The Father can build some destruction on you for your arrogance, your foolishness. So I want to take you now into Leviticus chapter 16 to get a brief overview of where we're going in this atonement proceedings, the atonement feast. And let's begin it. I'm not going to do all at the moment. Probably another part 2 or 3 maybe. Leviticus chapter 16. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe after the death of the 2 sons of Aaron, when they offered before the Most High and died. Yahweh said unto Moshe, speak unto Aaron thy brother, that he come not at all times into the set apart place within the veil before the mercy seat, which is upon the ark, so that he does not die. Because I will appear in the cloud above the mercy seat. So shall Aaron come unto the set apart place with a young bullock for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. He shall put on the holy linen coat, and he shall have the linen breeches upon his flesh, and he shall be girded with a linen girdle, and with the linen mitre shall he be attired. These are the set apart garments. Therefore shall he wash his flesh in water, and so put them on. As we look at this chapter, as we think, meditate on it, we are going on the pursuit of engaging in our need to get a hold of the actions of the Mashiach in this atonement season as he steps in to cleanse the sanctuary on the behalf of his dealings with Yasha Allah and the dealings of Yasha Allah with him. This is between Most High and Yasha Allah. The people of the nations, you're going to get your chance. Yeah, the Most High has a slot, a space, and where you fit, you people of the nations. But this is about a family business between the Most High and Yasha Allah. It's his children that have rebelled against him for so long. And he coming to put the question to rest. Who do you say I am? That's the big question, Yasha Allah. That has to be determined as we set our compass, our sight on dislocating from this enslavement under Esau and under the nations. I'll read you a couple more verses and then we'll defer over to the next time. Again, thus shall Aaron come into the set apart place with a young bullock for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. He shall put on the holy, the set apart linen coat, and he shall have the linen breeches upon him, upon his flesh, and he shall be girded with a linen girdle, and with the linen mitre, some brothers say mitre, shall he be clothed. These are the garments, therefore shall he wash his flesh in water, and so put them on. And he shall take of the congregation of the children of Yasha Allah two kids of the goat, that is 2 young goats, for sin offering, and 1 ram for a burnt offering. And Aaron shall offer the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make an atonement for himself and for his house. And he shall take the 2 goats and present them before the Most High at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. There ends our reading for right now. And until next time, Yasha Allah, may the Most High bless Yasha Allah, strengthen Yasha Allah, strengthen our faith, courage, determination, no pain, no brokenness in the body, no eye problem or whatever problem. It's going to deter us, get us mad with the Most High and say, well, oh, he ain't doing this for us, he ain't doing that for us, and we rebel. In this atonement, I guarantee you, by the word of the Most High, there can be some healing. The Most High said, no, he's not going to heal everybody directly, like that. But you're going to get some healing in this atonement. So let's come to the atonement, hope in our hearts, courage, and with a secure determination. How is it secured? In the offering of the Mashiach. Greater love hath no man than this, that he laid down his life for his friends. Bless you, Yasha Allah. Till next time.